You've probably noticed this by now. Your life looks okay from the outside, but your mind feels like a war zone. One moment you're replaying the breakup. The next, you're thinking about the message they never replied to. Then it's that disrespect at work. The joke that cut a little deeper than you let on. You smile. You say, "It's fine." But when you're alone, your thoughts turn into knives. You scroll. You distract. You tell yourself you'll change soon. New habits, new morning routine, new gym plan. And yet, late at night, it's the same overthinking, the same anxiety, the same quiet sense that you're drifting instead of living. Here's the brutal truth most people never face. You've been trying to fix your life while leaving your mind completely undisciplined. You're rearranging furniture in a burning house. The Stoics saw this clearly 2,000 years ago. They lived through wars, plagues, exile, betrayal, heartbreak, and they realized something you're just starting to feel in your bones. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Fix your mind, and your entire life begins to rearrange itself around that new center. In this video, you're not getting vague motivation. You're getting 10 brutal Stoic rules for fixing yourself. 10 rules that don't care about your excuses, your comfort, or your old story. 10 rules that will demand something from you. Honesty, discipline, responsibility. As you listen, you'll start to see patterns. Why you chase people who don't respect you. Why you keep breaking your own promises. Why your emotions feel louder than your reason. And more importantly, how to become the kind of person who doesn't just cope, but moves through life calm, clear, and hard to shake. If you're tired of being at war with your own thoughts, you're in the right place. If a part of you is done being the victim of other people, circumstances, and your own mood swings, stay with this until the end. And if this already hits something deep, take a second now. Like this video so more people can find it. And in the comments, write this simple affirmation. I choose to master my mind. Because that's what this really is. Not just tips, not just quotes, a shift in identity. You are not just someone who wants to feel better. You're becoming a stoic mind in a chaotic world. A person who feels everything, but is ruled by nothing. Calm on the surface, clear at the core. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote his private journal as a reminder to himself, not to impress anyone else. He knew the hardest battle is always internal. You're about to step into that same battlefield, with real weapons this time. In the next part of this video, we're going to start with the first brutal rule that changes everything. The rule that forces you to stop blaming the world. And finally, take back ownership of your inner life. You've seen it now. The real battle has never been between you and them. It's between you and the way your own mind reacts to them. So let's step into the first brutal Stoic rule that starts to fix everything. Rule 1. Radical ownership of your inner world. As long as you blame your ex, your boss, your childhood, or the algorithm for how you feel, you've handed your power away. You've made your peace depend on things you can't control. That's why you feel weak. That's why your emotions keep dragging you around like a dog on a leash. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In simple terms, life throws the punch, but your reaction decides if it breaks you or builds you. You get rejected, your old self spirals. Overthinking, checking their profile, wondering what you did wrong. The Stoic self pauses and asks, what is mine to control here? You can't control their decision. You can control your meaning. You can control your next action. You can control the story you tell yourself. Radical ownership means this. Every time you feel triggered, you stop pointing outwards and start asking, what is my responsibility in how I'm dealing with this? That question turns pain into training. Affirm this to yourself. I own my reactions. My mind is my responsibility. Now, once you take ownership, you hit the second rule. You are not your thoughts. Right now, your mind probably feels like a noisy room. Thoughts of, I'm not enough. They don't care. I'll never change. You've repeated them so often they feel like truth. But they're just mental weather passing through. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you believe every negative thought, you let random clouds stain your entire sky." Modern psychology backs this up. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it's accurate, helpful, or worth keeping. You can observe it, question it, and let it pass. Imagine sitting beside a river. Your thoughts are leaves floating by. Instead of jumping in after every single one, you watch. Oh, there's the "I'm a failure" thought again. I've seen you before. No argument, no panic, just awareness and distance. This is what the Stoics trained. The ability to see a thought without becoming it. Start practicing this daily. When a painful thought hits, say silently, I'm noticing the thought that, and then name it. That tiny gap between you and the thought is where your freedom starts. Identity shift. I observe my thoughts. I am not ruled by them. Now we move into a third rule that rewires how you move through the world. Detach from outcomes. Obsess over actions. Most of your anxiety comes from staring at things you can't fully control. Will they text back? Will I get the job? Will this video blow up? You live in imaginary futures instead of concrete actions. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." You can influence outcomes, but you can't own them. What you can own fully is your process. You can't control whether she respects you. You can control speaking clearly, setting boundaries, and walking away when those boundaries are crossed. You can't control whether a project goes viral. You can control the hours of focused work, the courage to publish, and the humility to learn. The Stoic mind is not passive. It's intensely active where it has power, and peacefully detached where it doesn't. Each morning, ask yourself, what 3 actions today are fully mine to execute, regardless of the result? Then execute them with quiet intensity, and let the outcomes be whatever they are. Affirm it. I release outcomes. I master my actions. As you start owning your inner world, separating yourself from your thoughts, and shifting your focus to actions over outcomes, you'll feel a strange new calm creeping in. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped fighting it the wrong way. In the next part, we're going even deeper into the rules that kill procrastination, comfort addiction, and emotional chaos, and replace them with clarity, discipline, and a steady inner peace. By now, you've started to feel it. When you take ownership of your reactions, when you stop believing every thought, when you focus on actions instead of outcomes, your inner world shifts. But to truly fix yourself, you have to go after the deeper roots. Your time, your comfort, and the standards that guide your life. The next rule is this: respect. Time, like a warrior, respects his last breath. Procrastination isn't just bad planning. It's you quietly acting as if you have unlimited tomorrows. You say later to the workout, tomorrow to the difficult conversation, someday to the life you actually want. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." That's not morbid. It's clarifying. When you remember your temporary, nonsense falls away. The pointless argument, the endless scrolling, the fake drama. What matters comes into focus. Your character, your work, the people you truly care about. Imagine your day as a battlefield. Every hour, something tries to steal your attention. A stoic mind doesn't just drift into the fight. It chooses its targets. You decide deliberately, these are the things worthy of my time today. Not everything, just the essentials. If you ignore this rule, years can vanish in a blur of half-finished projects and shallow distractions. If you embrace it, even a simple day starts to feel meaningful. Identity shift. My time is sacred. I live like my hours matter. Now we need to talk about the enemy that quietly kills potential. Comfort addiction. Here's the next brutal rule. Comfort is a cage. Embrace the right kind of discomfort. Most people aren't controlled by chains. They're controlled by cushions, soft beds, easy food, endless entertainment. Your body is alive, but your spirit is sedated. Seneca challenged himself with voluntary discomfort. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest of fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself all the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" In modern language, practice being okay without your usual comfort. Cold showers instead of hot, a hard workout instead of another lazy evening, sitting with your emotions instead of numbing them with dopamine hits. When you train yourself to handle discomfort on purpose, you stop fearing it by accident. You're no longer terrified of being alone, of being bored, of being unseen. You become grounded, less needy, more stable. Ignore this, and comfort slowly turns you into a prisoner, always needing more to feel okay. Live it, and you become someone who can walk into difficulty with a steady face. Affirm it. I am not ruled by comfort. I choose the hard things that make me strong. The next rule goes straight at your relationship with the world's opinion of you. Choose virtue over validation. Right now, so much anxiety comes from constantly checking how you look to others. Did they like my post? Do they think I'm weird? Am I winning compared to everyone else? Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That's a hard pill to swallow in a culture built on constant performance. But it's freedom, because the moment you stop needing everyone's approval, you become free to live by your own standards. Virtue, for the Stoics, meant living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. You measure yourself by your integrity, not by reactions. In real life, this looks like telling the truth even when it's awkward. Saying no when your whole body wants to say yes, just to avoid tension. Choosing the work that matters over the work that looks impressive. If you ignore this rule, your identity will always be at the mercy of other people's moods. If you live it, you become quietly unshakable. You move through rooms anchored in something deeper than approval. Identity shift. I live by my standards, not by people's reactions. As these rules sink in, respecting your time, stepping into discomfort, choosing virtue over validation, you're not just changing habits, you're rewriting what it means to be you. In the next part, we're going to turn up the intensity even more, tying your emotions, your past pain, and your purpose into a clearer, stronger Stoic identity. One that can walk into any storm with a calm, steady mind. You've started to see it. Your time, your comfort, your need for validation, these were never small issues. They were the quiet architects of your anxiety, your overthinking, your lack of peace. Now it's time to take all of this deeper into the core of how you feel and who you believe you are. Picture yourself standing in the middle of a storm, wind howling, rain cutting across your face. People around you are panicking, chasing every emotion, every notification, every opinion. But you're learning to become the calm center of that storm. The next rule is this: emotions are signals, not orders. Right now, you might still treat every feeling like a command. You feel anger, so you snap. You feel lonely, so you crawl back to someone who disrespected you. You feel anxious, so you avoid the very thing that would make you grow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your emotions happen. They rise like waves. But the Stoic mind doesn't let the waves steer the ship. In practice, this means you stop asking, "How do I get rid of this feeling?" And you start asking, "What is this feeling trying to tell me? And what is the wise response?" Anger might be telling you a boundary has been crossed. The wise response is not a messy outburst, but a clear, firm line. Loneliness might be telling you you've abandoned your own values and hobbies for someone else. The wise response is not chasing them, but reconnecting with yourself and your life. You don't numb emotions. You don't obey them blindly. You listen, you learn, you lead. Identity shift. I feel everything, but I choose my response. Now we step into another brutal rule. Your past is a lesson, not your label. You've been betrayed, disrespected, ignored. Maybe you were cheated on. Maybe someone you trusted walked away without explanation. You carry those moments like scars. But sometimes, without realizing it, you also wear them like a name tag. You start thinking, "I'm the one who always gets left. I'm the one people use. I'm the one who never finishes anything." This is where Stoicism cuts deep. The Stoics didn't deny pain. They refused to let pain define them. Epictetus was born a slave. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." He didn't say, "Who is born in the right family," or "who had a perfect past." He tied freedom to self-mastery, not to history. Your mind loves to replay what hurt you. The Stoic move is to ask, what did this teach me about people, about myself, about what I will never tolerate again? The breakup that shattered you can become the moment you finally built standards. The humiliation at work can become the moment you decided to develop your skills in silence and outgrow that environment. The seasons where you were weak can become the fuel for a life of quiet strength and discipline. You look at your past like a soldier studies an old battlefield, not to cry over the mud, but to understand the terrain, adjust strategy, and win the next fight. Identity shift. I am not my wounds. I am what I do with them. Look at how far you've already come in this journey. You've taken ownership of your inner world. You've separated yourself from your thoughts. You've shifted focus to actions, guarded your time, broken the cage of comfort, chosen virtue over validation, learned to treat emotions as signals, and started to reclaim your story from your past. This is no longer about random self-improvement tips. This is a worldview, a way of walking through life. You are becoming someone who stands in front of the mirror and doesn't just ask, "How do I feel today?" You ask, who am I deciding to be today? A steady mind in a chaotic culture, a quiet strength in a loud, performative world, a person whose peace doesn't collapse every time the outside world shakes. If any part of you feels that shift, even if it's small, hold on to it. Because in the final part of this video, we're going to bring all of this together. You'll get the last brutal rules, the clear marching orders, and a simple way to live this out every single day. Not as a burst of motivation, but as your new identity. Look at where you started and where you are now. You came in with a mind that felt chaotic, pulled by rejection, disrespect, overthinking, comfort, fear. Now you're standing on a different mental ground. Not perfect, not finished, but clearer, straighter, stronger. You've walked through these rules already, even if you didn't notice the number. You took radical ownership of your inner world. You stopped confusing yourself with your thoughts. You shifted from obsessing over outcomes to owning your actions. You began to respect your time like it actually matters. You saw how comfort can become a cage, and you started stepping into chosen discomfort. You turned from chasing validation to living by virtue. You learned that emotions are signals, not orders. You looked your past in the eye and refused to let it be your label. That's 8 brutal shifts. They're not little tweaks. They're the foundation of a different life. Now we finish with the last 2 rules that turn all of this from good ideas into a new way of existing. The 9th rule is simple, but it's everything. Tiny daily practice over dramatic transformation. Your mind loves extremes. You want to wake up tomorrow as a new man. No more overthinking, no more fear, no more weakness. But that's not how Stoicism works. The Stoics treated the mind like a muscle, not a miracle. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations once and walk away enlightened. He wrote the same reminders again and again because he understood something you're now starting to see. You become what you repeatedly practice, not what you occasionally feel inspired by. So, here's what this looks like in real life. Each morning, you take 5 quiet minutes. You remind yourself of who you're choosing to be today. A mind that owns its reactions, that watches thoughts, that focuses on action. You decide on a few concrete behaviors. One hard thing you'll do instead of avoiding. One boundary you'll hold. One way you'll respect your time. Each night, you take 5 more minutes. You review. Where did you stay aligned with your Stoic rules? Where did you fall? No drama, no self-hate, just honest adjustment. Ignore this, and all of this becomes just another deep video you watched once. Live it, and these rules become part of your nervous system. Identity shift. I am built by my daily practice, not my feelings. The final rule is this. Live for something higher than your mood. If your only goal is feeling good, you will always be at the mercy of circumstance. Good text, good mood. No reply, bad mood. Comfort, good mood. Challenge, bad mood. The Stoics aimed at something higher than comfort, character. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Who do you want to be? A man whose peace collapses when someone disrespects him, or a man whose mind is anchored in values that don't move. When you live for something higher, wisdom, courage, justice, self-control, your mood stops being the ruler and becomes just one more piece of information. You still feel, you still hurt. But you are guided by a compass, not by the weather. So, here are your marching orders. Every day, remember the path you've chosen. Own your reactions. Observe your thoughts. Act where you have power. Release what you don't. Guard your time. Choose the discomfort that makes you stronger over the comfort that makes you weak. Live by your standards, not by applause. Listen to your emotions, then lead them. Honor your past as a teacher, not a prison. Practice in small, consistent ways. And keep your eyes on the man you are becoming, not the boy you once were. If this resonated with you, don't let it stay on the screen. Like the video. Share it with someone who needs to wake up from their own mental chaos. Subscribe and stay in this community of minds, learning to be calm, clear, and unshakable. And in the comments, write this final affirmation so it sinks deeper into you. I fix my mind, and my life follows. Remember this line as you go back into your day. You are not here to be tossed around by every emotion and opinion. You are here to walk your path with a steady, stoic mind. And the rest of your life will rise to meet it.